introduction. Well, here we are, Simplify Your Social Media Meetup, Joyce Boystel, the host of it. And we are going to be having our speaker here coming up in just a minute or two. I wanted to tell you about Kellie, who is going to share with us how something as simple as a new headshot can help you grow your business in ways you would not expect. She has tips for how to look your best in your photos and how to use these photos to leverage your marketing. So if you're nurturing relationship with existing clients or getting attention to potential clients, it's going to be a real treat for you to see this presentation. Now, Kellie's been a professional photographer almost 20 years, taking portraits of Denver's top entrepreneurs. I'm filling that category. I'll put myself there. Business executives and artists. And this is true for me. Her clients often compliment her ability to make them feel comfortable in front of the camera. So now I think I'm still seeing Kim. So Kellie, please unmute and take it away for this program and the recording.
Yay, good to meet you all. Thank you, Joyce, for that awesome introduction. I'm going to share my screen and we will start. Oops, there we go. All right. Can everyone see? I'm just going to assume that you can. Yep. So great to see those or hear those introductions and see you guys to start off. I'm very grateful to be here. Thank you for having me. Joyce and I met through another networking group, and I was very honored that I think even before we had a one-on-one, Joyce, you trusted me. I had gained your trust through just a couple conversations from other women in our group and probably my website. And you booked your session and we had a wonderful time at your session. And it's great to hear from you that you're happy with all of your photos. So, and I'm honored to be here with the group. As I said, very grateful. I want to share with you how to grow your business with headshots. My company is Kellie Henriksen Photography, and a branch of that is specifically geared towards headshots. So I do personal branding photo shoots and headshots for the Denver area. And let me just start and move on to my next slide here. I have two parts to this presentation. The first part, I'm going to share some tips that I have on how to get the best photos. And then that second part is going to be it's on leveraging your marketing with your headshot. So like Joyce said, I'm Kellie. I've been a professional photographer for almost 20 years now. I have a photo studio in Belmar, which is right at Wadsworth and Alameda in Lakewood. I've been there for over 5 years. Actually, this month marks 5 years. And then prior to that, I was on South Broadway. I was up in the Rhino Arts District. And then I was on the Santa Fe Arts District. So I've been all around town and absolutely love my Belmar photo studio and will stay there as long as I possibly can. And that's where I do 90% of my shoots is inside my studio. And I help clients get the best photos themselves so that they can use these photos to elevate their business. And they elevate their business through having professional, pretty photos to show off to their current clients and their new clients. But also part of elevating their business is creating beautiful images of them to show them how beautiful they are. So that's a really great part of my business is I feel like I get to boost some confidence in some of my clients and therein help them feel great about their business and just get that ball rolling. All right, so in today's digital world, professional photos are no longer a luxury, but a necessity. I want to talk about pre-pandemic. Pretty much everyone had a headshot, right? I feel like the standard for a headshot may have been a little bit lower than it is right now because not everyone was communicating digitally at that point. So people may have used a selfie that they took with their smartphone, or they had cropped themselves out of a group photo when they were a guest at a wedding. And that was able to pass as a headshot for their business. But since we moved on during the pandemic, we moved to our main mode of communication was through Zoom or through email and not in person. It became even more important to have a professional headshot so that your first impression with those clients and new people that you're meeting for your business is top notch. So it's a necessity now to have a professional photo. All right, I'm sure all of you have a professional photo or some kind of photo that you use as your headshot right now, but do you have a high quality headshot? And I want to share what I define as a high quality headshot, the first point is going to be good lighting. So I like to focus on having even lighting over my subject's face. That's where I want to make the lighting as clean as possible on their face, because headshot. And that means that it's not going to be too bright or overexposed, nor too dark or underexposed. The second point to having a high quality headshot is intentional choices in your clothing, your makeup, and your hair. So it needs to be obvious that you purposefully chose the outfits that you're wearing in your photos, and that you came to your photo shoot knowing you're going to have a photo taken. And so you did your hair, your makeup, you chose your jewelry to have that professional photo taken. And then the third point is that you look true to the way in your photo, you look true to the way that you look in person. I'm going to elaborate on this a little bit more later on in the presentation, but basically, I feel like the trend for that perfect photo, that over retouched look, has faded away or almost faded away. And I'm very grateful for that, because prior to us seeing each other in person all the time, so pre-pandemic, people had these retouched photos and then they would meet people in person a lot more. And I think that standard has gone away, where the retouched photo doesn't look like that person when you meet them in person. And so now we do a lot less retouching, and it helps with that know, like, and trust factor. So you look like the person that's in the photo when you meet them in person. All right. When should you update your headshot? It's a question that is great for today. And here's our beautiful Joyce. I absolutely love this color on you, Joyce. It was a good choice, a very intentional choice for your headshots. But when you should, here are some times when you should update your headshot, when there's a noticeable change in your appearance. So first thing I like to think of is hair. Did you change the color of your hair? Do you have a new haircut? And you're thinking about the photo that you use currently. A lot of times I'll have people contact me and be like, I love my headshot from 10 years ago, but I don't look anything like that. My hair is a different color. I have a different hairstyle. So that gets back to that point of the photo looking like you do in real life. So true to the way that you look in real life. So the next point that would be is if you're doing a rebrand or a launch of a new product or service, especially us where our face is our business, where we are selling our service. And so you need to have having an updated or current headshot when you are launching a new product or service, or when you're rebranding. This is the perfect time to get a new headshot. And then this one, when maybe you're feeling stuck or in a rut with your biz, getting new headshots is a great way to start getting out of that rut. You're going to have a new life of refresh to your business, and it's going to also spark conversation with your old clients and even new clients if you have new headshots. All right, so let's get to my tips on how to get the best photos. Oh, Joyce, let me ask you something. Do you think, does anyone have any questions now, or should we wait until the end to do questions?
I think we should wait till the end.
Okay, okay, great. Yeah, so jot down your questions, and I'm obviously happy to answer them. All right, so the first tip is going to be to practice in the mirror. So when someone hires me to take their headshot, I have a few different packages. Two of the packages include a consultation, a pre-consultation, where we get on the phone and we talk in depth about what they're looking for. And then I share my tips on how to prepare for that session. And then one of the packages, which is my most basic package, is the pre-consultation isn't there, but they go to a page on my website that talks about how to prepare. But these tips are what I share with everyone. It's just a really great way to get yourself ready to have the best session. So practice in the mirror. You're going to try out all the different expressions that you may use for your headshot. So that's going to be a range of smiles. While I'm shooting with my clients, I shoot directly to my laptop. And so we get the opportunity to review those different expressions right away and see which one we like best. So for instance, I will coach my client and say, okay, let's start out with like a neutral face. So kind of no smile, just a neutral face. And then as I'm shooting a few frames, then I'll say, okay, let's a little bit more smile, a little bit more smile, a little bit more smile. So we have that whole range. So if you do that in the mirror prior to, you're going to know which smile you like best. Which expression you like best, if it's really happy or if it's a little bit more neutral. And the other thing you can do while practicing in front of the mirror is wear the clothes that you may be wanting to wear in your headshots. So you see what you look like in those clothes. Kind of an obvious one, but I feel like maybe some people don't always do that beforehand. Yeah. The next tip is to choose the right outfit. And I get this question every time someone books a headshot, what should I wear? And it's a great question. My first answer is that you would want to use outfits that you'll wear when you meet with your ideal client. So imagine that you have your ideal client and you're going to meet with them in person, take them out to a meal. What are you going to wear when you do that? Everyone's ideal client is going to be different. Maybe you're looking for more of like a casual look to be more relatable, or maybe it's more appropriate to be in a jacket and be that professional formal look. So if you can start out with thinking, okay, what would I wear when I go to meet my ideal client? You're going to win with that outfit for sure. Okay, tip number 3, enjoy the experience. With your positive mindset, you're just going to get better photos. That's with everything in life, right? With a positive mindset, you're going to get a better experience. So if you come to your session with an open mind and trust in your photographer that it's going to work out, inevitably you will get a great headshot. And I talk with my clients about this all the time. 99% of the people that come through my door start off with, I don't like having my photo taken. I'm really nervous about this. I'm not photogenic. So a big part of my job is making them feel comfortable, letting them forget that they feel like they're not photogenic, and really having a great time while we're shooting so that it is a positive, enjoyable experience. All right. This is the fun part, how to leverage your marketing with your headshot. All right, step 1, after you get your headshot, go to all of your social profiles and update that profile photo across all those platforms. It's the easiest way to use your headshot first off. And that also includes your email signature, that profile, and then also, your website, on your website. Your About Me page. That's a good one. All right, this will make a great impression when they see that you have your professional photo, you had your professional photos taken, and then you have them out there in the world. It also gives you something to talk about, gives your client something to talk about with you. You're going to get a DM or a comment on that photo. Wow, this is a beautiful new headshot. I love this. Just a very organic way to connect with your clients. And it also shows that you invest in your business. You're investing in a professional headshot. And so it gives a wonderful impression, and then know that you're going to invest in them. This is the quote that pretty much sums it up. Your headshot represents your professionalism. If you aren't willing to put your best foot forward for your own brand, why should a client trust you to put your best effort into theirs? Love that quote. All right, this is step number 2, to leverage your marketing with your headshots. You can use a variety of photos to keep your content fresh. So for instance, at Joyce's photo shoot, we did several photos and she chose her favorite 5, 6. You got 6 of them. So you have a year's worth of content. If you send out a monthly newsletter and you update that photo every other month, you put a new photo in there, then you're going to keep that content fresh, which, like we talked about earlier with the profile photos, just organically can create conversation with your clients saying, oh, I love your new headshot. So just keeping your monthly newsletters fresh, or your regular communication with your clients fresh. Your social media posts, same thing. If you are trying to engage with new people on a regular basis, say for instance, get followers on Instagram, every month you should be doing some kind of post where you're introducing yourself to say hi to the new clients and even connect with everyone who's been following you for a long time. And if you have a new photo every month to put up there, how great is that? And then also it's a good idea to have different, a variety of photos, because you may be marketing to different types of clients. My favorite example of this is when someone comes to me and the first request is a formal headshot. Maybe their company is saying you need a headshot with this specific lighting on a gray backdrop, and you need to be wearing a suit jacket looking at the camera. We do that one, we take that photo, but then maybe a lot of times they are speakers as a professional in their field. So they're hired to go and do keynote speeches at different conferences where people who are in their profession are attending. And sometimes they'll attend a conference where it's more formal, or they're going to be speaking to people who the audience is more of a formal setting. So they'll want to have a headshot that is them in their formal attire, ready to present, that matches them when they're going to be presenting. Or maybe they're going to be presenting to a group that's a little bit more casual. You don't want to show that really formal photo to that casual audience. So having the variety of photos is going to help you in marketing to those different types of clients. Okay, step number 3, use this to increase the know, like, and trust factor with your clients. When you have your headshots on your marketing materials, you're going to build awareness and increase recognition. We all want that, right? You want to be top of mind of your clients. And people are going to remember your picture much easier than your name. That's why we have our photo in our email signature. And then creating connection with your eyes, your facial expression, and your overall look, your professional look, are going to make people want to get to know you, and it automatically builds that feeling of trust without even having to meet them in person or even over Zoom. It's your first impression. You don't have a second chance to make that first impression. Okay, here's my bonus step. This is for social media. I always encourage my clients, when they have a few photos, to create a poll on social media. Super easy way to get the conversation going and to engage with your audience. Take 3 of your headshots that maybe they can be, each 3 of these examples are all very different, but they don't have to be that different. You could do 3 headshots where you have a little bit of a different pose, but you just ask your audience, which is your favorite, and people will comment no matter what. People love to share their opinion, and they love to compliment you. And it's a great way to tell everyone, hey, I'm moving and grooving over here in my business. Look at these new headshots that I got. Which one is your favorite? So just like I said, you'll get multiple comments. It opens the door for new conversation, and it will easily and organically increase engagement. Okay, so what are the benefits of working with a professional headshot photographer? I think what I bring to the table most with my clients is I have been doing this for 20 years, and I've figured out an efficient workflow, so it makes it really quick. Okay, we're all super busy. Our time is very valuable. If I can make this experience that a lot of people maybe aren't looking forward to, if I can make it quick, then let's do it. So for instance, I have a headshot package, my basic one. I book it out for 20 minutes. We're usually done within 15 minutes, and they get a beautiful headshot from that. I also make it easy. That goes along with making it efficient and quick. It needs to be easy. If people aren't very excited about doing this, you don't want to make it hard for them, and then fun. So we have fun while we're together. Make it quick and enjoyable. So you can hold up your smartphone and scan that QR code, and that'll take you directly to my website, so you can see even more details about that. Here's a review from a gal who I photographed last year. She says, Kelly made me feel super comfortable, and it was the easiest process in front of the camera that I've ever experienced. Jamie was a perfect example of someone who contacted me through email, and then we hopped on the phone. She's like, I just got to tell you, I'm not really excited about this. I'm not photogenic. I don't really like doing this. But I just reassured her, hey, we're going to have a good time. Yep, I hear you. Yeah, I can understand how that would be kind of nerve-wracking, but I'm a professional and I'm excited to meet you, and let's do this. And so easiest process in front of the camera. So if you're ready to grow your business, I can help you. Or if you're not local, find a great headshot photographer near you and see if you like their work through their website, and make sure they have a photo of themselves on their website. And then reach out to them and think about how you might get to leverage your marketing in a new way by having a headshot. I'm going to have Joyce send a follow-up email so that you guys will have a link to schedule a one-on-one with me. And you'll also be able to download these tips when you sign up for my newsletter with that specific link. And then anyone who's local, I'm offering a bonus. I'll send a promo code with $50 towards one of my sessions. And so you can also, when you added your info in the chat, your contact info, if you could just right now in the chat, if you want to say, Kelly, send me info, I'll happily reach out to you. And that's it.
Thank you so much.
No.
Yay, yay, yay. So stop your sharing, and then we'll go to gallery. Let's give her a big round of applause. It was really fun to watch that. I'm excited that I was in one of the slides. I was teasing her on her website. We're the old people, Kelly. So,
yeah.
Yeah. And I see you have the handful of men, mostly women. but I'm so excited that you did that presentation just like you did it. And one more thing I wanted to show you, I'm going to get it up to give you an example of a way to use a picture in LinkedIn, which is, I think all of you know, is my wheelhouse. So watch carefully, folks. So here is a picture of me holding the mug that I had another lady from She designed for me. So here is a full picture. See this? And there, remember how she said about don't crop it from like that time you were at the wedding or something? Because usually like there's your husband's arm around you. It looks really weird. But see, now I crop this much to be my actual headshot, because Jonathan can tell, he's known me for a while. This is so much more me than my old headshot because it shows a lot of personality. And to that point about the touching up, see all these wrinkles? Well, you know, as Kelly said, I earned them, right? I earned them. So therefore, why not, oops, I want to get rid of this. Why not have them show up? Because that's how I look. And I tell people my age all the time. It's part of my brand that I'm older. So everybody gets to sort that out where they're at, but I'll just wanted to use myself as an example. Let's go to questions to see what people have to ask Kelly.
Jonathan.
Really good stuff, Kelly. I agree with basically everything that you said. I would like to pile in slightly that since we are inherently visual creatures, we make in nanoseconds practically opinions about somebody. And in most instances, that first image that you see of somebody is going to set the tone for whether or not you're taking this person seriously, they're taking themselves seriously, what kind of energy you're going to get out of them. So that image that you're going to be using everywhere, which is what you do very, very well, is really, really critical. So underscore that for everybody. But the question for you is, when I think of headshots, I'm thinking of the traditional head and shoulders, not 3/4 and certainly not full length, which you show a variety of that. And certainly with the resolution we have in cameras, we can crop those things down really well. But you are obviously allowing for backgrounds to be simplified for that crop. So I would qualify a lot of stuff that you're doing as more portraiture, not a criticism, just an observation, where you're saying more than this is the way that Joyce looks. You're saying more about the way that Joyce is, feels, and all of that. So you're adding extra layers, which I always recommend. But I also notice that you're doing a mix of both environmental or on location and studio. How do you guide your clients into what would be a more appropriate environment for their image?
Great question. Actually, everything that was in that presentation was in my studio. So it's over 1,000 square feet, and I've set it up so that I have fake plants that I move around, and it makes it look like I'm able to do that variety of environments within just that small studio space. So that's part of the quick and efficient part of it. But I have 3 different packages. One is the basic, I call it a corporate headshot session, which is going to be headshot session, where they get one digital photo, they come in for 20 minutes, and there's an intake form when they book the session that talks about, do you have any specifics that your employer maybe let you know about? Do you have any examples that you want me to view before we do the headshot? Then the second package is I call a refresh session. So it is where someone who needs at least 3 photos will come to my studio, and they'll want more than just that standard headshot. So that's where those environmental portraits come into play. And the trend that's come about in the last few years is personal branding photos. And so then my last session is a personal branding session where we spend an hour together, and you're going to get 15 to 20 photos. And that's where the variety of photos comes into play. And that includes like a product shot, if they have a product that they're going to be doing. But the last 2 sessions, the refresh session and the personal branding session, come with a consultation prior to the session. So that's when I talk about, okay, tell me what you envision, or where have you seen headshots? What headshots have you seen that you want to use as like a motivation for the shoots that we're going to do there? A lot of times in my conversation and understanding what their industry is, what they're going to use the headshots for, I'm going to be able to figure out, okay, they're going to want something where there's a little bit of negative space here so they can put text on there if it's in their website. Or I'll connect with their website designer or their branding person prior to. Did that answer your question?
Ish.
Great.
Good.
I'm going to go to Dave next. If you have something more, we can come back to you, Jonathan. So Dave has had his hand up. Yeah, go for it, Dave.
I was just going to ask, you had folks that, like, when you do the headshots, you get multiple angles, multiple pictures. When you use those, do you always use the same one on everything, like your social media sites? Maybe you got a flyer on your website. Do you use the same one and then change everything all at the same time? Or can you intermix them, or doesn't it matter?
Different. I think that's part of the conversation went before I shoot with them. So like, for instance, Joyce, for Joyce's session, she told me that she's working with a website designer to revamp it. So I knew, okay, she's going to want a photo that she's going to use on her about page, maybe on the front page of her website. But then she also does a lot of stuff on social media. So she's going to want a few photos on social media. So for me personally in my business, I have like a hero shot, the headshot of me that I love, that I put in my email signature. And maybe I have it on my about page on there, but then on my social media, I'm going to use a few different photos from that same session, but they look different than the other ones. So depending on the person and what scope of uses they may have, like a website or social media, then you would probably use a variety of them across all of them.
Okay.
Yeah, because that was actually going to be a question I was going to ask Dave, because when you were talking about, say, I have this monthly newsletter and I have that picture with me in the mug now in that, but I could then, you're saying, change that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could, because see, I always thought you're supposed to be consistent and have the same shot, like wherever you pop up in a headshot, but maybe that is more externally as opposed to your own document that people, they'll see you regularly.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm trying
It's
to
just,
make a distinction.
yeah, you're allowed to, whenever you feel like you want to change it up, I think it's a great way to change things up and to keep it
Yeah,
interesting.
well, that was a big tip for me today. Other questions or comments from people? Especially not to put anybody on the spot, but either like Marie or is it Kim, the other photographers here. If they have, yeah, if you want to weigh in. Don't have to. I just thought we have other.
I don't have any questions to think of, but I've enjoyed the presentation so far.
Well, thank you, Kim.
Hey Joyce, this is Cindy, and we never ever put obviously headshots on resumes ever. That's not a thing that we do in the United States. I think they do it in some of the other countries. But and this ties into your work, Joyce, with LinkedIn. Like when I'm looking for candidates, depending on the position, the way their LinkedIn photo looks is important to me. And the way that their LinkedIn looks are, if I'm networking with HR people and stuff, I really expect to see a professional headshot. And if I see people that just have the walk in the park and they're in their, running clothes, I do have a little bit of what's their level of professionalism. I'm not saying I would make hiring decisions based on that, but it does matter to me in my space. And with my background, and I'm a little bit older, the way you present yourself matters a lot, So I'm not into the casual photos, especially on LinkedIn and in a job search or in a networking search. So I appreciate what you're saying and how professional you outlined everything and pay attention to the clothes and the background and all of that. This is not Facebook.
Exactly. I did a complimentary session. I'll get to you, Jonathan. Just yesterday with someone. She had sunglasses on. I said, dump the sunglasses. That is ridiculous to me because right away you can't sort of see their soul, if you will, through their eyes. And I do sometimes it's challenging. I've talked to people, maybe their funds are limited. So I think in general, I really agree with you, Cindy, about a professional headshot. But fortunately, I feel that the smartphones quality of pictures are fairly good and taken a shot taken well of you, the same exact advice that Kelly just gave us, and someone who's good with a smartphone and have a plain setting, there's a lot of ifs here, can have I would call it a respectable headshot. Yet I think that it's I really do agree with you, Kelly. And I lean
Yeah.
toward kind of read the situation. And yet, there's a lady, one other just quick thing. She is maybe in her 50s now. And that picture of her, she had to be in her 40s. I said, how long ago was that picture taken? She says 10 years ago. I said, and how old were you then? She was like 48. Now she's 58. You would not even know it's the same person. But I know she's, her husband died. She's not working at her capacity. She's very unhappy. And so that's one of the challenges I expect you get is people come in and they gain weight or whatever it is. They just don't like how they look. But I still think you still need to go ahead and be, truth in advertising or whatever you call it, be authentic. And be who you are and find ways to look better, even in this self that you don't really relate to.
Yeah. That's a big part of my job, I think, is helping when people have the courage to step through my door. If they're feeling like that, then, helping them understand, see the beauty that they have, not just externally, but as part of it. But that's very true. It goes back to what Jonathan was talking about, how we're, visuals, we're going to make a snap judgment, no matter how non-judgmental we try to be. It's just that impression that you make. And a lot of people will come to me and say, I love this headshot of me from 10 years ago. Why would I change it? And that's because everyone else that sees it doesn't recognize you or sees, if they meet you and they see that headshot and then they meet you in person, the thoughts that are going through their head when they first meet you are not going to be the thoughts that you want. They're going to say, oh, she looks very different. She's deceiving me, or she doesn't like herself, or she isn't truthful, or she doesn't care about this. So if you can curb all of those negative thoughts by having an updated headshot, then it's only going to help you.
And
I want to go back real quick to your smartphone comment too, if I can. It's absolutely true that smartphones these days have very high quality cameras. And if you go back, if you review the slides that I sent talking about the high quality headshots, I think getting good lighting is really important. Use your smartphone to take a headshot this afternoon if you can. But finding good lighting is really important. And then having intentional choices with your clothing, and then use a smartphone, have someone help you with that and use a smartphone. And then, that's a great way to get a headshot right away and then book a headshot with a professional photographer.
Yeah, Jonathan, you had something to add. Go ahead.
I had a great experience last week where I was doing some work with this company, went to the webpage, and I thought, oh boy, the webpage is kind of rough, but she's got her act together. And I got a chance to meet this 23-year-old director of hardware engineering, and she's wicked smart. And as I was leaving, I said, by the way, a really good portrait. She said, oh, thanks. I said, no, I don't say this very often. You look like you have your act together. And I didn't know you were 23. And she said, oh yeah, my mom took it with my phone in the backyard. And I said, you like your mom, don't you? She says, oh, I love my mom. And that made all the difference. She chose the outfit, she chose the background, she had the energy, she had this great energy that made you think, oh yeah, she gets things done. But the final component was the relationship she had with her mother, because she was able to be confident and focus that energy that she needed to in that. So her mom didn't have to be supreme because she carried the rest of it through all of her engineering stuff. But you can do phenomenal work with minimal gear if you have the right pieces together.
Thank you for that specific story. That's wonderful.
Energy matters everything.
Oh, totally. Totally. Any other questions or comments that we have coming up here? I wanted to, I wanted to mention, I think I'm going to turn off the recording because we kind of hit all this. Next month,